Hi there, Hayat. So let's take a look at your first set of essays. Nice to see you working really hard for your IELTS preparation. Let's see what you wrote here. This is about an activity with a child. Let's see what you said. It is widely accepted now that children learn well and better acquire the essential skills when they are taught with the help of innovative and joyful techniques as compared to the traditional method of reading only. Okay. I firmly support this claim and believe that in order to proper educate and help them better acquire the much needed skills, these innovative methods of teaching should be widely adopted. Okay, so this is good, especially for your first essay, but there are some things I absolutely want to change. Take a look at this. Acquire the essential skills and acquire the much needed skills. Even though on its own it's a lovely expression, when you use it repeatedly and especially so close together, it loses all of its effect and it just feels like it's a memorized phrase that you have used to impress the examiner. So you absolutely don't want to do that, okay? Now, the other thing, joyful technique, that's a little bit of a stretch. It's not a natural expression, so we absolutely have to change that. Maybe fun techniques or innovative and entertaining techniques. Excuse me. So that would be better here, okay? Let's see. And then here, this should have been properly educate. So believe that in order to properly educate and help them better acquire the much needed skills, etc., etc. Okay, so a couple of mistakes there. You want to be careful about this. Remember that your introduction is the examiner's first impression of your writing. And so you want it to be as correct and accurate and really just give a solid, good first impression, okay? And of course, it has to answer the question, which yours did. So let's move on. Children learn better in an environment where they are kept fully involved in enjoyable learning activities. These activities can be in the form of singing, play, or teaching them with the help of schematic presentations. The emphasis, however, should be on keeping them fully engaged in these activities. This can be further augmented by giving them assignments to be done at home with the support of parents and siblings. A recent study by Cambridge University, without the "the" in the UK, for instance, established the positive influence of these teaching methods on learning. Okay, now I want you to be a little careful here. You seem to really be talking about this within the school framework. That's not the impression that I get from this essay and the way that it is phrased. Let's see. I've always kind of interpreted this essay to mean in a child's free time. You have framed it completely within school. And the other thing is that you aren't really talking about which skills. It says better skills and creativity. So I kind of feel like, yeah, you're talking about it. Yeah, you're writing really nicely. But I don't know how appropriately developed this is. I want to look at it one more time if that's okay with you. So you're saying they learn better in an environment where they are involved and they have enjoyable activities, singing, play, or schematic presentations, keeping them fully engaged. Yeah, but what about these skills? I mean, remember that the comparison here is between activities and reading. And which of these two activities develops better skills? So you're not really telling me that, okay? So somewhere in here, there should be some sort of a comparison between these activities and reading and why the activities that you are suggesting develop skills in a better way than reading does, forgive me. In order to do that, you actually have to talk about what skills are being developed, okay? So I kind of feel like you haven't really grasped what this task is actually asking you to talk about, okay? So, in addition, encouraging students to stay active by such fun-filled classroom and field-related activities, along with increased participation in sports, has actually beneficial effects on their cognitive development. Okay, now here you're talking about skills. So this effect is largely due to the fact that good physical health and challenging mental activities keep our mind in better shape. This effect was demonstrated by a large retrospective case control study in Finland, which showed that children who were active in such activities and sports scored higher than their counterparts on the cognitive tests. Okay, fine. So you're talking about cognitive skills. Okay. In conclusion, while reading is a good habit which should be encouraged, children can learn well, develop better cognitive skills, and be more creative with the help of fun-filled and interactive teaching approaches. Okay. The good news is that your grammar is great. Your vocabulary is really, really good. You had some nice, precise language, and that's a great place to be starting. Your organization of the essay was appropriate. It was well structured, and you absolutely used the template correctly. So all of that is really good. You're at a really great starting point. Where my issue is with the fact that you didn't fully answer the question. So the weakest link for me here is task achievement. Partially because here, as I mentioned, you did not talk about skills development. You certainly did here. You talked about cognitive skills. Okay, so that was fine. That was appropriate. But take a look at the task one more time. What does the prompt say? It says develops better skills and more creativity. You didn't talk about creativity. Now, when you see it phrased like this, it's as if they want you to spend one paragraph talking about better skills and another paragraph talking about creativity. You talked about skills here, but nowhere did you really talk about creativity. You mentioned it once in passing here in your conclusion, and that was it. It's not enough. You absolutely have to spend more time to it, develop it, and really analyze what kinds of activities can develop creativity. And not only that, but what activities can create more creativity compared to reading. Okay? And that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. There was not enough comparison to reading in this essay. Here you talked about this, but there was no sort of control here. Well, this is done with these activities that I'm suggesting, which could not be done by reading. And then here, it's the same thing. Okay? You only really mentioned reading at the very, very end, and that's just not enough. Okay? So while all the elements of this essay are very strong, the task achievement portion of it needs work, but that's okay. We're at the beginning of your course, so that's what we're going to work on. Okay, let's take a look at your second essay. All right, so here we go. Now we're talking about schools, whether they should be more entertaining or whether they should merely educate. Here's what you wrote. While there are many advocates of the view that schools should focus more on enjoyable learning and extracurricular activities, others believe that the basic function of schools is to provide education. I firmly support the former view and believe that schools can perform more efficiently if they keep their students entertained. This understanding is based on the fact that children, we never write kids, we never use informal language in IELTS unless it's an informal letter. You absolutely have to use more formal language. Children would be appropriate. Don't worry about overusing it. It's okay. So, yeah, children. So this understanding is based on the fact that children learn better when they do so in a manner that is attractive to them, and staying active in such activities is also beneficial for their cognitive development. Okay, get rid of the also here, and then you are fine. So schools can better educate students with the help of entertaining methods of teaching that keep the children fully engaged in the learning process. This is largely based on the fact that such techniques which educate the children while they play and dance are more efficient than traditional methods. A recent study by the University of Toronto, for example, singular example, established the positive outcomes of these innovative techniques on learning. Therefore, it is the need of the hour that more and more schools adopt these innovative teaching methods. Okay, lovely. That's nice, and I like this here too. This subjunctive that more and more schools adopt. That was really nice. So yeah, no problems there. It was nice. I liked it. Let's move on. Another key point that supports this argument is that children who stay active in such physically and mentally engaging environment in schools have better cognitive development. This is now a well-known fact. No. It is now a well-known fact that staying involved in physically and mentally challenging activities is essential for proper development of mental capacities. It is worthwhile to mention here that positive effects of such engaging activities on the cognitive development of the children have been objectively demonstrated by multiple retrospective case control studies worldwide. Okay, fine. Let's move on to your conclusion. After carefully observing these points, it is not hard to conclude schools should transform their way of educating children by adopting these approaches which keep the students entertained and involved in the learning process. All right, fine. So, I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought I thought you used a lot of lovely language, and I thought you wrote really nice sentences, although I can't really say that you sunk your teeth into the topic. So, um, but you know what? An examiner reading this probably would not be too concerned about that. Um, so here's the thing. Basically, what are you telling us in this paragraph? You're telling us that children are more engaged when they are entertained, okay? And that's what this whole paragraph is about. And then here, you tell us that children who are physically and mentally engaged have better cognitive development, okay? So those were your two basic ideas. You developed them a little bit. I can't say again that you really like sunk your teeth into it, but it's fine, especially for your first set of essays. You did a very good job. You were on topic, which I have to say a lot of people are not on this particular first set of essays. So it's very good. I have a feeling that we've got a lot of really good we're starting off at a really good point essentially. And so as you continue on the course, we can really tweak some of these issues with task achievement in order to assure that you'll get a really, really good score on your exam. For your first set of essays, this is lovely. You've done a very nice job. A lot of really good language, a lot of natural language, a lot of precise language, and that's really important. So vocabulary, really well controlled, excellent, precise. Grammar, really good. Organization, excellent. I feel like we just need to tweak a little bit this issue with task achievement. I'm not very concerned. We've got a lot of essays ahead of us, so I know we'll get there. Okay, great job. Let's talk about what the next steps are. The first step is for you to correct these essays based on the suggestions in this video correction and return that back to us. Along with your corrected essays, you will return an error correction list where you write down the mistakes and next to each mistake what the correct version will be. You'll add to that list every time you get an essay correction back from us. Then the third thing, of course, that you have to do is a new set of essays, just incorporating and adapting and applying everything you've been learning along the course and through the video corrections. So go ahead, get that all started. I'd ideally like to see all of that within the next day or so. So this way you can really just keep up your momentum. Okay, so go ahead, get that started, and we'll meet back here with your new set of essays. So good luck.